Just one person, right? Two people?
Okay, so let's do the translation and for everybody.
Okay.
Здравствуйте, уважаемые гости и участники 10-й международной школы социальных студий. Правильно?
Yes. Good morning, our guests and participants of the 10th Summer School.
Меня зовут Лаврикова Оксана Валентиновна, я проректор по международным отношениям и коммуникационным технологиям Херсонского государственного университета.
My name is Lavrikova Nadezhda Konstantinovna.
Нет, Оксана.
Оксана Лаврикова is a provost for international relations
и коммуникационным технологиям.
and communication technologies.
Очень мы действительно рады вас приветствовать в Херсонском государственном университете. К этому готовились полгода.
We're happy to welcome you at Kherson University. We've been preparing for this for half a year.
Потому что, мне кажется, Херсон это можно сказать, на сегодняшний день это самая южная точка Украины.
For today, Kherson is the most southern point of Ukraine.
И нам хотелось, чтобы действительно имидж Украины, а именно южных регионов, начинался с университета.
And we would like our university to be the starting point for you to develop this image of southern Ukraine.
Я когда изучала немножко, чем занимается сама международная школа, увидела, что сегодня это 10-я международная школа.
When I was looking into the history of the summer school, I realized that today is the 10th summer school.
То есть это юбилейная.
It's an anniversary summer school.
Юбилейная. И второе, что я отметила, что до этого было в 9 городах, а Херсон это 10-й город.
And that means that you had summer school in 9 different cities, and Kherson is the 10th.
Поэтому это тоже юбилей в какой-то степени.
So it's also an anniversary city.
Вы действительно поднимаете такие большие, такой пласт проблем, которые на сегодня интересуют, конечно, в первую очередь Украину, но и, конечно, и другие страны.
You raise all the important issues not only for Ukraine but for other countries as well.
Это зона военных конфликтов. Я знаю, что вы будете на Чангаре, да, на прикордонных территориях.
So the question of military conflict, and I know that you're going to visit the border area.
И, конечно, для нас это не просто какая-то условная черта, которая это административная граница. За этим остались люди, семьи, дружба, общение. Для нас это очень такой сложный вопрос.
And for us, it's not an imaginary line, just an administrative border. For us, it's a line that separates friends, families, and it's really important for us.
Поэтому то, что вы сегодня наработаете, я надеюсь, что это действительно будет очень важным, очень нужным таким имиджевым, такими вещами, потому что мы видим, что в стране сейчас происходит опять определенные, в стране и в мире опять происходят определенные какие-то военные сложности, недопонимания. И хотелось бы, чтобы вот мы как ученые, вы как ученые, вы все-таки предоставили те шаги, которые помогут людям немножко разобраться в этой ситуации.
So we hope that whatever conclusions you come to today would be of use for everyone, because as we see today, not only in Ukraine but also in the world, there is some misunderstanding, some tension. So we hope that you as scholars will come up with certain ideas.
Ну и то, что эта проблема очень важная, говорит о том, что у нас 20 участников из 8 стран мира.
And one thing that shows that these are very important problems is that we have 20 participants from 8 countries in the world.
И у нас 9 лекторов из 4 стран.
And we have 9 lecturers from 4 countries.
А это действительно, значит, это не какая-то проблема касаемо одного региона, это касается уже глобальных таких мировоззрений.
So that means this is not only about one region, but it's a global issue.
Я бы хотела вам пожелать, чтобы вот 11-я юбилейная международная школа проходила еще более в южной точке. Это в Ялте и Крым украинский.
My wish for the summer school that your next anniversary 11th summer school will be held even more to the south of where we are in Yalta.
И украинский. И а 12-е еще более юбилейное. Чтобы вы выбрали любой восточный регион, это либо Донбасс, либо Луганск, где бы вы действительно, опять же, украинский.
And for the 12th summer school, you could go to any part of eastern Ukraine, in Donbass, in Lugansk, that would also be Ukrainian.
Вот, я ставлю вот такие нам цели, такие вот преодолимые задачи.
But these are achievable goals.
И, конечно же, желаю вам, чтобы вы максимально обогатились не только знаниями, но и приятной атмосферой и знакомством друг с другом.
And I hope that you will not only gain more knowledge, but also enjoy friendships and the wonderful atmosphere here.
Спасибо вам большое и хорошей вам работы.
Для нас очень важно, чтобы школа происходила именно в университете. В 9 разных городах, где мы организовали школы, каждый раз наш местный партнер был университет, местный университет. И это очень важно для нас, потому что это способ как бы приближаться и как бы создавать такое международное сообщество. Да. И мы очень хотим, что разные университеты, из Штатов, из Франции, из Канады, из Германии, и что украинский университет тоже будет часть этого международного сообщества. Я, например, работаю в этот проект, который называется «Написать новые истории Европы». И мне кажется, это тоже важно, тоже как бы связано в связи с вашим пожеланием последним, как бы, да, что Украина тоже большая часть Европы, и что эти все условные линии, о которых вы говорили, вот эти границы, они, конечно, важны, но главное человечество, и что мы все часть одного большого сообщества европейского.
Спасибо большое. Спасибо вам большое. Я всегда говорила, что Украина это не просто мы боремся за европейское, мы Европа. Украина это центр Европы. И здесь это географически так сложилось, поэтому никуда от этого не деться. Наш как-то путь уже изначально был сложен вместе с европейским развитием европейского сообщества.
Yeah, so the discussion was that Princess Xavier just emphasized how important it is for us to have a partner in a Ukrainian university, because the summer school is about creating a European community of scholars, and so Sam just emphasized how Ukraine is at the center of Europe. So that's already a given.
И все ценности европейские, это свобода слова, это выборы, это демократия, это все, мне кажется, присуще именно и украинскому народу в том числе. Да, проблемы есть везде, и, безусловно, мы слышим об этом в каждой стране, все, безусловно, существуют какие-то сложности, но, мне кажется, это все преодолимо, если есть желание. А у нас желание есть.
So all the values such as freedom of speech, democracy, we all value them here, even though we have some issues, but who doesn't? So.
Спасибо вам огромное. Хорошей вам работы. Если будут какие-то пожелания, вы же сегодня у вас такой день презентационный, вот, я понимаю, что вы в дальнейшем будете. Пожалуйста, говорите. Анастасия, она всегда с вами. Я знаю, что она вам всячески пытается, чтобы вам было здесь комфортно, уютно, содействовать. Поэтому обращайтесь, мы всегда, чем сможем, всегда поможем.
Yeah, if you have any questions, issues, we have Anastasia who's always here, so yeah.
Добрый день всем.
So, any questions?
Спасибо огромное. До свидания. Всего доброго.
Professor at Х Міжнародної Academy, and for over a year I'm already with the Wilson Center in DC. I live in Milan and Kiev, and I started as epistemologist in philosophy and ended up as a dissident political philosopher in Ukraine.
Okay. My name is François Xavier Nera. I'm assistant professor at Paris Contemporary University. I'm a historian working on Soviet history. I have two main fields on which I'm working on. The first one is food history. I'm working on the history of collective catering in Soviet Union and canteens and so on. And the second one is the memory of violences in Soviet history, mainly Stalinist purges, Stalinist mass graves, and the way they are, the way the Russians and the Ukrainians are dealing with them today.
Hello everyone, my name is Masha. I'm originally from Ukraine, but I lived for the last 4 years in the US. I studied at the New School in New York. I study political theory and comparative politics. My main interest is nonviolent civil resistance movements. I'm studying Crimean Tatars, so the field trip is very relevant for me. I also teach a bunch of courses at the New School and at the Catholic University. Yeah, I guess that's it. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Natalia Kudryavtseva and I'm from Kyiv. From Kherson, yes, I work not at this university but at Kherson National Technical University, which is another university in the city. I've been living here for 11 years and I can assure you that this city has made some progress within this time, and my field is linguistics, cognitive social linguistics. Right now I'm looking into the topic of Ukraine's language policy, language ideologies, how Russian speakers and Ukrainian speakers are viewed in Ukraine in the context of the ongoing conflict. And welcome to Herson. Hope you like this.
Hi everyone, I'm Thomas Lesnionga. I'm a PhD student from Paris Military University. I've been graduated in Russian Studies and International Relations, and now I'm doing my research on Russian irregular fighter trajectories in post-Soviet wars from Transnistria to kind of nowadays. And so I'm really glad to be with you all. So that's it.
Hello everyone, my name is Johann Zajeczkowski. Born in Poland, raised in Germany. I studied political science and public law in Trier, the oldest city of Germany. And now I'm doing my PhD on the Ukrainian volunteer movement, come the battalions, at the University of Bonn. But I live in Berlin, so when anyone is in Berlin around, so just give me a sign.
Hi everyone, my name is Mehmet Volkan. I am a PhD candidate in Soviet history at Arizona State University. I am writing my dissertation on children and childhood in Kazakhstan from 1928 to 53. So that's all about me.
Hello everyone, I'm Lagoon. I'm a PhD candidate in history in Paris, UHSS. I'm working on the repatriation of Soviet DPs from France. So it's all Soviets who have been deported in Germany and have been in France evacuated by Americans. So I'm studying its repatriation and also the Soviets who didn't want to go back to USSR.
My name is Melanie, and I'm a PhD candidate in International Relations at the National Institute of Oriental Languages and Civilizations in Paris. And I'm working on the impacts of the war in Afghanistan upon Tajikistan after the withdrawal of NATO forces, so from 2014 onwards.
Good morning, my name is Anastasia Fomicheva. I was born in Ukraine, but I'm making my PhD in Paris, in Paris Panthéon University in political science. I'm a second-year student, so I'm basically working on the neo-patrimonialism system and oligarchy system in Ukraine. And I'm part of an RC project, a comparative project on wars, and so I'm we are studying the social dynamics and the changes in the states at war.
Good morning, my name is Iris Murat, I'm from France, and I'm PhD candidate at Х-Міжнародної School in Paris, sociology. I studied social sciences, international relations, and humanitarian project management. And now I'm working on the role of NGOs and civil actors in conflict resolution, focusing on the conflict in Donbass.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Colline Maestracci. I'm French, but I live in Belgium, and I'm a PhD candidate in political science in Brussels University. And my work focuses on the return to civilian life of war veterans in Ukraine.
Anna Colin-Lebedev, Paris Nanterre University. So you all understand that the French touch is extremely strong here, especially on that side of the table. It's not on purpose, but it's on purpose at the same time. I've been there since the first. I'm the only one there since the first summer school, so it's my 10th summer school there. I work on, let's say, military issues since my PhD in Russia and Ukraine, so it was soldiers' mothers first, then Afghanistan veterans second, and now I'm working on this ongoing conflict in Donbass, combatants, and the impact of the war on the function of state and society. I wanted to add something about the French touch, but I'll stop. Actually, this is the first year that we have so many French students. It's not usual. Usually we have one or two. So I think we have raised a new generation, guys. So thank you everyone to be here.
My name is Nadia, I'm from Ukraine, I live in Kyiv. I did my PhD in anthropology in the University of Melbourne, Australia. After returning to Ukraine, I've been mainly involved in feminist and queer organizing. I also teach in and out of academia. When I try to do some research, it's mainly independent. I teach at Kyiv Academy part-time.
Which department?
Sociology.
My name is Maxim Novikov. I'm on one of the few Russian schools
here. Who managed to cross the border.
Right now I'm desperately trying to finish my dissertation at Faculty of Arts at the University of Helsinki. It's about Russian media. I basically borrow some theories from cognitive and social psychology to understand how Russian television works. And I'm also a member of an independent research group which is called Public Sociology Laboratory, which is based in Moscow and St. Petersburg. And within this group we study also regular armed groups in Russia between conflict from both Russian and Ukrainian sides.
Hi, I'm Alyssa Klotz, and we've met, all of us, over email. I originally came to the summer school as a student in 2011, I believe, or not, I don't know, a long time ago. And gradually, I worked my way up. So I've been a faculty member for also maybe 3-4 years now. And I'm a historian. I'm an assistant professor at the University of Pittsburgh. And I have 2 research projects. Well, I'm a Soviet historian, a gender historian. My first project is a history of domestic service in the Soviet Union. And the second project is the history of gender and aging, so elderly people. And I'm very happy we all made it here.
Hi everyone, I'm Mayhill Fowler, and I'm an associate professor at Stetson University, which is a small university in Florida about 30 minutes from the beach. I've been associated with the summer school for a few years now, and I have to say what's really great about it is hearing all of your projects and hearing about all the work that students are doing and seeing the next generation coming up. It's something to really look forward to. My first book was on theater in Soviet Ukraine, and talking about the relationship between art and politics and art in a multi-ethnic place. And I have 2 projects that I'm working on right now. One is on military theater, the professional theaters that the military districts in the Soviet Union sponsored. And the other is on gender and sort of gender politics backstage in the theater. So I am a former actress, which is why everything I do relates to the theater. So very nice to meet you, and I wish us a good summer school.
Hello everybody, I'm Anne Le. I'm assistant professor in Paris Nanterre University, so like a few of us here around this table. I'm very happy to be here. I joined the faculty staff a little bit later, so I was not in contact with all of you before, but I'm very happy to be here. I already participated in 2012 in Zhytomyr Summer School, which was also very interesting experience, and so I'm also very happy to see so many, of course, young people, PhD students and young scholars, and to see the young generation, not only the French one, which of course I welcome and I know, and I'm very happy, but also everybody was here, and so I'm very happy to be here, and I really wish you, yes, and my research interests, sorry, are I'm sociologist and political science sociologist, and I work in, I've been working about issue of violence in Russian society and in post-Soviet conflicts for quite several years on the Russian-Chechen conflicts, and also the past month or years on the other post-Soviet conflicts, namely Georgian Abkhazia conflicts and former combatants, of which we will going to speak about with Anna on Thursday afternoon.
Hello everyone, my name is Maris Romakala. I'm just finishing up my PhD at the University of Toronto in Canada. I study the Russian city of Rostov-on-Don, Rostov-na-Donu, during the Second World War, but more generally I'm interested in Soviet and German interactions during and after the war, and histories of violence and the Holocaust.
Hello everybody, I'm Anna Safronova, Russian, doing my studies thesis in France, Paris 1 University, and since 3 years already I'm studying cooperative movement that started in the second half of the 19th century in Russian Empire, and I will study it till the 32, like the first 5-year plan, but actually we can see some parts of cooperatives already in Kherson. If you have seen near the market, that is just behind our hotel, you have a big slogan that says that cooperation is mutual aid and democracy and peace. So actually those are the values of the cooperative movement that are formed in the end of the 19th century. And I hope that you will discover cooperatives with my integration.
My name is Laura Iras. I studied sociology and history at the University of Munich, and this is the university where I'm now doing my PhD in sociology. I wrote a paper about the attitudes towards Russian speakers in Ukraine.
Okay. Hi, I'm Adam Shvara, and I'm neither a historian nor sociologist, but I'm an architect. I was born in Poland, and now I'm doing my PhD in Manchester Architecture Research Group, and I'm doing a PhD in architecture history, dealing with late 1940s or immediate post-war period in Warsaw, and trying to understand the circulation of knowledge and materials in the political economy of early reconstruction or late destruction in Poland, but in Warsaw, Poland and Europe, basically. This is my PhD, and yeah.
Hello, I'm Sasha. To add to the French flavor, I'm doing my PhD at McGill, and McGill is situated in Montreal, in Quebec. I am doing my PhD in political science. Comparative politics is my first field, and theory is my second. I focus on transitional justice and politics of memory in post-communist space, but I deal a lot with violence and gender as well, which is related to my presentation here. I cannot wait for all the papers.
Okay, hello. So I already introduced myself as Sophie. So Sophie Lambroschini I work for the Sonntag in Berlin, which is a research center that is very broad and transdisciplinary, and there I do research on contemporary Russia and Ukraine, and my interests are actually quite wide. I'm a postdoctoral researcher, so I've been broadening my research topics and fields, but in general I'm interested in looking at, from a sociological perspective, how economic actors manage conflict and borders and divides. So my doctoral thesis was about the financial Cold War, looking at Soviet bankers working on capital markets and how they managed this ideological and managerial divide, basically, and living in between space between two systems. And my current research projects, there's one specifically on Donbass, where I look at economic actors in Donbass on a micro level and how they manage economic interactions across the line of contact, and I focus on the work of a water distribution company called Voda Donbassu, and I look at how this company provides water on both sides of the front line and how they manage to do that, let's say, vertically and horizontally. And my other project that I'm just beginning now this summer is geopolitics, let's say, from below, inspired by my Donbass field, looking at how Russian investments in infrastructure in Central and Western Europe affect political and social dimensions locally, and how these may or may not have an effect on EU governance. But I'm at the very beginning to give you a broad overview, and just because what you were saying, Anna, it would be really interesting, I think, for everyone, like if you do have in your research some kind of connections to Kherson or Crimea, well, you already spoke to that. That would be really interesting to just, you know, bring it up as we speak or in our discussions.
Or to share it on Facebook.
Or to share it on Facebook, but also just to share it, like we have the chance to actually have, you know, like live discussions face to face, and I think it's really nice to get out of the Facebook and WhatsApp mode. So really, so you know, just also share it live. But it's really interesting. Yeah, it gives us a whole new dimension to it.
I'm Yulia Shukran. I'm assistant professor at the University of Paris-Nanterre in France. I've been faculty member for 9 years. As you told once, I'm the second veteran. You are the first one.
You're the founding mother.
Better.
Next time we will have one star for 10 years.
We wouldn't say birth.
And as for my research, I'm doing actually ethnography of practices of citizenship in the context of the ongoing war in Donbass. With several different fieldworks, but one is located at the military hospital in Kharkiv, so I'm working on really taking care about wounded military at this hospital. So I'm trying to ethnographize the citizenship and its evolution in this context.
We have 2 more participants that are still on the way.
Yeah.
So we'll see them hopefully once, sometime around lunch, and the other one whenever her bags arrive. So
we'll let them introduce themselves.
But yeah, we'll let them introduce.
Thank you, everybody. So yeah, I guess we can start with our first session, right? And we have we decided to start with, as the school, with a brilliant introduction, by Mikhail Znakov. All right, so how can we manage this kind of, I guess during the presentations, we can all turn to the screen, okay, and then maybe for this kind of break.
Are you that tired?
No. Okay.
This personality, but I really feel envy to you guys because I didn't have an opportunity like this when I had my PhD dissertation. I didn't have a chance to discuss it much. And now, when I'm reading my dissertation and when I read my first book, I feel ashamed. So please don't be in that position. Now, as a philosopher, I'm interested in one topic. You probably heard that there was Alexander Zinoviev, a dissident philosopher in Soviet Union, who was interested in the Soviet man, as the way he phrased it. So I myself grew up, my first education was in military medicine. I was raised and prepared for the war in Afghanistan. But I got my diploma a month after the withdrawal of Soviet troops. And then I was working as a village doctor and then studied history and then philosophy. And that was early 90s. So I witnessed the disruption of Soviet Union and creation of new societies. And from medical anthropological point of view and from philosophical point of view, I'm very much interested in this new population that started creating new societies, new countries. So I'm basically very much interested in post-Soviet human, in those cultures, and when we talk about human, it's about some type of being that is uniquely creative. We as humans, we are creative in arts, in science, but also in politics. So by studying political systems, political cultures, we actually learn something about humans. And that's the momentum where I, as a philosopher, start thinking. So for me, this lecture today is actually a prospects for the future book. And your questions and your remarks will be taken with gratitude because in several years I want to sit down and write how did it happen that this one population started hating each other, killing each other, and being unable to make peace or lasting peace at least. So this is why I call it from Содружества to Совражество. Those of you who knows Russian, you understand, but it can be translated in English from commonwealth into common wrath. And I know that the Francophone colleagues have also created a good translation. Can you?
L'ennemi intime. No, but for Совражество. From Содружество, that is intimate enemy in France. Actually, it was the name of a very nice book and documentary film from a French regisseur about the Algerian War, French-Algerian War. So about the and intimacy of enemies. So I think it's relevant.
Very close to the topic as well. This type of translation. But again, to start, and since we're talking about the war in this school, I'll start with the absolute war, with the end of the world. And that's the map that you can see here, the so-called Nuclear War Watch that is produced by UN, United Nations Organization. It's a group of scholars, sociologists, historians, military specialists, that every year assesses how close are we to this self-destruction of humanity. When I was a child, I was in a school in 1982. We were 1 second before the end of the world. Then, when I was a teenager in 88, 89, this watch was getting in a much better position than 5 minutes before the war. When the post-Soviet history starts, we had something like 7 minutes before the war, before the end of the world. And then you can see that slowly something is changing, and around 2008, when the Georgian war is in place, but also many other wars around the globe, the watch is going back from 6 to 5 to 3, 3, 2.5, and then 2 minutes. And will 2019 be a year 1 minute before the end or going backwards? It's a question mark. So we all live in a world that loses stability, we get more and more local wars, but also this year we had the first war ever between two nuclear powers. If you remember Indian-Pakistani conflict earlier this year. This is when actually many were saying, oh, it's back to 1 second again. And of course the post-Soviet region produced a lot of damage to the stability of the peace. Another global context of the history in post-Soviet world is connected with what is called the global decline of institutionalized democracies and institutionalized authoritarian system of autocracies. If you didn't look at the varieties of democracy or VDM project, I invite you to look at it, but here is like the baseline of what we witness in contemporary world. So if we look at the straight autocracies, well-established institutionalized autocracies, we definitely see the decline. A long time decline during the 20th century, up until recent several years. Here you see instability, but actually something is changing with the nature of autocracies. Another strange situation is with full, well-institutionalized democracies. Also, we have several waves, you probably remember. First wave, second, third wave. The last wave was in 80s, early 90s. Again, it's connected to our part of the world. And then we have stagnation and decline. So what we see, that creativity of generations that lived in 20th century and in political sphere, they established they invented either stable autocracies or stable democracies. Something happens with all these inventions. They decline. These institutions, either good elections or good dictatorships, don't function properly anymore. It's connected to the change in social structures. It's connected to technologies. So we are in a position, you and my generation, your generation, generation next, that have to create new political institutions, new political systems, and the political cultures will transform. And the question of liberal philosopher is how to make sure that this creativity will work for more freedom rather than more subjection. And lessons from post-Soviet, post-communist societies is critical, because we tried to invent freedoms in the early 90s, and we invented non-free regimes. The liberal in the best case, or authoritarian in the worst. Here in between you see these mixed autocracies and deficient democracies. That's actually where we see the growth. So something is happening, there's a lack of models, lack of institutional creativity, and we are in the position to invent new democracies and new political systems. So when we look at the dissolution of Soviet Union, we should call it the momentum of destructive creativity. I myself even tried to describe these years between 89 and 93, these 5 years, as a momentum when we have a post-Soviet revolution. We invented this moment, new private sphere, new public sphere, new economies, new type of citizenship, new states, new sexuality, new criminality. Whichever sector of a human life you go to, you see there's a huge changes, not even change, innovation. This is where Hannah Arendt actually is coming into the picture. You remember on the revolution, she's actually bringing a new idea of what revolution is. It's not the change, it's not the historicist way of describing revolutions. It's new beginning, it's innovation apropos. Innovation in different terms, but here, when you read history of French Revolution, you definitely see that these guys don't know what they're doing. But they invent, they come up with something new every day. And of course, retrospectively we can say, oh, the absolute spirit was learning about the freedom of itself, or himself, probably this is how Hegel would say it. But actually that was an innovation, an invention of many new political forms of cooperation. So my key question is, what was created in these post-Soviet societies, countries, in terms of political creativity? What kind of political systems did we create? Institutions, institutes, organizations. And then retrospective, so judging from today's point of view, how did the Commonwealth became the Commonwealth? How did we start to hate each other? And when we talk about political systems, here we have a big damage that Western political science made on the global scope. Basically, since the Western systems are based in the political systems that are more formal than informal, it's taken for granted. It's taken as normal situation. This is why in my generation that was learning American and British models mainly, in Х-Міжнародної, and when we started studying Ukrainian, Russian, Belarusian societies, we couldn't understand them. Our predictive force was minimal. On one side, we have distribution of powers. We have national republic, national statehood. We have economy that is being manipulated or experimented with by the neoliberal approaches. And at the same time, we see very conservative values and practices, so that late Soviet society seems to be much more developed.